your eyes are failing, and it's happening while you sleep. But what if I told you 4 simple nuts could change everything? I'm talking about restoring clear vision naturally. No expensive eye drops, no procedures, just food. The right food at the right time. And most seniors have no idea this even works. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which nuts to eat before bed, and why nighttime is when the real healing happens. Stick around because nut number 1 has been shown to reduce eye strain by 40% in just weeks. Let's dive in. Here's something nobody talks about. Your eyes don't exist in isolation. They're connected to your brain, your blood vessels, your entire nervous system. And after 60, everything slows down. Blood flow to your retina decreases, your body stops producing the nutrients your eyes need, and inflammation quietly damages the delicate tissues inside your eyes. The worst part? Most of this damage happens while you sleep. That's right, the very hours when your body is supposed to repair and restore. Your eyes get no real support. But here's the good news. There's a way to change that. A natural way. Something you can start tonight. I'm talking about 4 specific nuts, each one packed with nutrients your eyes are starving for. Omega-3s to fight inflammation, antioxidants to protect your retina, minerals to improve circulation, and compounds that literally help your eyes rebuild while you rest. This isn't some miracle cure, it's science. Real, proven science that most people just don't know about. So if you're dealing with blurry vision, dry eyes, or trouble seeing at night, pay attention. Because what you eat before bed could be the missing piece. Let's start with nut number 4. Nut number 4, walnuts. If there's one nut that's been quietly fighting for your eyesight, it's the walnut. Most people think walnuts are just for lowering cholesterol, but that's just the beginning. Walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically a type called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. Now, here's what you need to know. Your eyes are an extension of your nervous system. They're connected directly to your brain by the optic nerve, and both your brain and your eyes depend heavily on healthy fats, especially omega-3s. But after 60, you start losing that healthy fat balance. You absorb fewer nutrients, blood flow to the brain, and retina slows down. And the communication between your eye and brain starts to lag. That's when you notice things like slower reaction to light changes, trouble seeing details in low light, or that uncomfortable feeling that your eyes are working harder just to keep up. Walnuts step in here as quiet heroes. The ALA in walnuts helps increase blood flow to the retina and optic nerve. It protects nerve fibers from oxidative stress, and it reduces inflammation that can impair visual signals. Think of it like giving your visual system a long overdue oil change. But there's something else most people don't realize. Walnuts don't just support the structure of the eye, they also help with mental clarity and focus. 2 things that often fade along with vision in our later years. I remember reading about a woman named June. She was 72, still sharp, still full of life, but she'd stopped painting, which had been her lifelong joy. She said it wasn't just that she couldn't see the colors well anymore, she felt foggy. After adding walnuts to her evening routine, things changed. 3 weeks later, she was painting again. Simple vase of sunflowers, vibrant colors. She said, "I feel like my eyes woke up." That's the kind of difference something as humble as a walnut can make. So here's what you do. Eat 3 to 4 walnut halves about an hour before bed. Not a whole handful, just a few. Pair them with a small glass of warm water or herbal tea. No screens after, just rest. Let your body do its work while you sleep. Nut number 3, pistachios. If walnuts are the quiet supporters, pistachios are the bodyguards of your retina. You might not expect that from such a small green nut. But behind their subtle crunch and mild flavor, pistachios are packed with 2 compounds your eyes absolutely love: lutein and zeaxanthin. You may have heard those names before. But let me explain why they matter. Your retina, especially the macula, is under constant attack. Not from anything dramatic, but from daily exposure to blue light. Sunlight, yes, but also screens, TVs, phones, tablets. Even if you don't stare at a screen all day, Your eyes are still absorbing that light, and over time, it wears down the tissues meant to help you see clearly. That's where lutein and zeaxanthin come in. These are carotenoids, plant pigments that act like internal sunglasses. They filter out the most harmful wavelengths of blue light before they reach and damage your macula. Here's what's remarkable. Your body can't make these compounds on its own. You have to get them through food. And pistachios are one of the very few nuts that naturally contain both lutein and zeaxanthin, plus the healthy fats that help your body absorb them better. When these nutrients are present in good amounts, they help reduce glare sensitivity. They improve contrast detection, and they even slow the progression of age-related macular degeneration. That's the leading cause of vision loss in people over 60. I once heard about a man named Harold. He was 68 and had recently noticed that everything looked dimmer, almost like someone had put a filter over his vision. He'd stopped driving at night because the headlights from oncoming cars felt too blinding. He said, "It's like my eyes can't adjust anymore." After adding pistachios to his evening routine, along with other targeted nutrients, things shifted. 2 months later, he called. "I'm back behind the wheel," he said, "and for the first time in a while, I'm not afraid of the dark." That's the power of protecting your retina from the inside out. So here's your move. Eat a small handful of pistachios, about 10 to 15, before bed. Choose unsalted, raw, or lightly roasted. No added oils or flavorings. Pair them with a few slices of cucumber or a small piece of dark chocolate. The combination supports both hydration and antioxidant absorption. Your retina will thank you. Nut number 2, Brazil nuts. This one surprises most people. Brazil nuts are often overlooked, but for seniors dealing with red, irritated eyes or that burning sensation in the afternoon, Brazil nuts might be the answer. Here's what makes them special. Brazil nuts are loaded with selenium, more than any other nut on the planet. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts give you your entire daily selenium requirement. And selenium is a trace mineral that does something incredible. It acts like a firefighter in your bloodstream, helping to extinguish invisible flames of inflammation before they cause lasting damage to your retina, lens, and cornea. Chronic inflammation is one of the biggest enemies of eye health. It attacks the collagen-rich layers around your joints and nerves, leading to stiffness, burning, and the loss of that springy, flexible feeling in your eyes. But selenium doesn't just fight inflammation. It also helps recycle and reactivate vitamin E, a critical antioxidant that protects the fatty tissues of your eye from breaking down under stress. In simpler terms, it keeps the fragile parts of your eye from becoming brittle and damaged over time. And here's the thing, most people are low in selenium and don't even know it. I've read about dozens of seniors with symptoms of chronic eye strain or cloudiness, and almost every time selenium was borderline or deficient. One of them was a retired school teacher named Walter. He was 74 and still mentally sharp, but his eyes were constantly irritated. He had to carry artificial tears everywhere. And even then, his vision often looked like he was peering through fogged-up glass. When he looked at his diet, it was clear he wasn't getting much selenium at all. So he added just 1 Brazil nut a day. Yes, just 1. A month later, he said something unforgettable. "My eyes feel quiet again." That's the beauty of giving your body what it actually needs. You don't always need more, you just need the right kind of support. So here's what you do. Eat 1 to 2 Brazil nuts before bed, not more. Too much selenium can be toxic. 1 or 2 is perfect. Pair them with a small glass of water or herbal tea, and let your body absorb that selenium overnight. Your eyes will feel calmer, clearer, and less irritated by morning. Nut number 1, hazelnuts. This is the most powerful nut for restoring clear vision naturally, and most seniors have never even considered it. Here's why hazelnuts are so special. By the time you reach your 60s and 70s, something begins to quietly fade from your eyes. Not just clarity, but moisture, resilience, and most importantly, collagen. Collagen isn't just for skin. It forms the very scaffolding of your eyes. supporting the cornea, the lens, and even the tiny blood vessels that keep your eyes nourished. As collagen breaks down with age, your eyes begin to lose their shape, their flexibility, and their ability to stay hydrated and protected. That's when dry eyes become more than a nuisance. Your eyes feel scratchy when you wake up. Your vision gets blurrier after reading. Your eyes take longer to adjust when you move from light to dark. One of the key nutrients that helps preserve this collagen structure is vitamin E, and hazelnuts are one of the best natural sources of it. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, meaning it works best when it's delivered with healthy fats, just like the kind found in hazelnuts themselves. This antioxidant protects the delicate membranes around the eye from oxidative stress, helping to lock in moisture and shield the eye's surface from damage. It also slows down the breakdown of collagen, especially in the connective tissues that keep your eye firm and focused. Plus, hazelnuts contain quercetin and flavonoids. These help protect your nerves from oxidative damage. That's important for anyone dealing with numbness, burning, or weakness in the legs, feet, or hands. These symptoms often come from deteriorating connective tissue, not just nerve damage, and hazelnuts help slow that process down. I remember reading about a woman named Lydia. She was 69 and came in frustrated because her eyes watered constantly. At first glance, it seemed like her eyes were over-lubricating, but in reality, they were chronically dry. Her body was trying to compensate. She said, "It's embarrassing. People think I'm crying all the time, but I'm not. I just can't see straight without tearing up." After making just a few adjustments, including a small handful of hazelnuts before bed, things changed. A month later, her eyes were no longer red. The tearing had stopped, and she said something simple but powerful. "I can look people in the eyes again without worrying." That's what happens when you give your eyes the support they're quietly asking for. So here's your move. Eat 5 to 7 hazelnuts about an hour before bed. Choose raw or lightly roasted. No added sugar or salt. Pair them with a small piece of dark chocolate or a few berries. The combination enhances absorption and adds extra antioxidants. And most importantly, make this a ritual, not a task. A moment of care before you rest. All right, now let's put this all together. Here's your simple evening routine. About 1 hour before bedtime, prepare a small bowl. A few walnuts to support the brain-eye connection. A small handful of pistachios for retinal protection. One Brazil nut for anti-inflammatory selenium. And a few hazelnuts for collagen preservation and moisture. Not a large serving, just enough to gently nourish your eyes through the night. Pair these nuts with a warm, unsweetened herbal tea. Chamomile or lemon balm works great. It supports relaxation and better absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Then simply sit down. No screens, no noise. Let this become a ritual, not a task. Because rituals are more than routines. They're signals to your body and your soul that healing is not only possible, it's happening. Many people have told me the same thing. I'm waking up without the dry, gritty feeling. My eyes feel calmer, stronger. I'm not squinting as much when I read the morning paper. And they didn't do anything radical. They just gave their bodies what they were asking for. And they did it consistently. That's the secret no one tells you. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters at the right time. You don't need a special supplement. You don't need to spend hundreds on eye creams or blue light glasses. You just need to start where you are with what you have. One handful, one evening, one small act of care at a time. A few months ago, I heard about a man named Richard. He was 76, a retired mechanic, someone who used to pride himself on never missing a detail. But lately, things had changed. He couldn't make out street signs clearly. He stopped working on his old truck because the small parts all looked the same. And worst of all, he had trouble seeing the smile on his granddaughter's face during their evening video calls. "I feel like my world is getting dimmer," he said. Not just his vision, his confidence, his sense of control. After beginning a simple, consistent evening ritual just like the one you've learned here, things shifted. 3 weeks later, he called, voice brighter than before. She waved at me through the screen and I saw it. Her whole face, her dimples, her eyes. Then he added, almost in disbelief, I didn't realize how much I missed seeing clearly. Richard's story isn't rare. It's what happens when we stop accepting slow decline as our only option and start supporting our bodies the way they were designed to be supported. Your age doesn't define your vision. Your past choices don't cancel out your future healing. It's not too late. Not when the tools for change are this simple, this gentle, and already within reach. One handful at night, one moment of care, one decision to believe in your body again. That's how healing begins. If this video gave you something valuable, hit that like button. Share this with a friend or loved one who might be struggling silently with their vision. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next insight, tip, or story that could change the way you age for the better. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Have you noticed changes in your vision lately? Have you tried any of these foods before? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Until next time, remember that every small act of care adds up, especially when it begins with your own eyes. Take good care tonight.